it was really good fun. I just had this tune that I thought sounded a bit like Hallelujah Chorus. Yeah.
This is the venue for the Handel tours.
That's so funny.
Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. What is anybody? Is anybody going to look in the window and go, Jesus, that's Neil Hannon. That's your man.
Anyway, you were asking me.
Yes, the question was, what's harder to write, a 3-minute pop song or a 40-minute orchestral piece?
A 40-minute orchestral piece is 10 times harder.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I guess now it is, because I've been writing pop songs since I was 12. And so I got pretty good at them. And, I got so good, in fact, that sounds unhumble, lacking in humility, but I tried to mess it up. I tried to sort of do stupid things, with the wrong instruments, precisely because it would be getting boring if you just do it over and over again in the same way. And I suppose that's half the reason I say yes to these orchestral things, is that I'm pretty sure I don't know how to do it. So it's going to be fun to try.
But I can see why they do, because so much of your music suits an orchestra.
I guess so. Yeah, National Express is just about people on a bus, but hopefully, you're sort of, the observation is keen, hopefully.
And it's that same kind of observation that comes through in To Our Fathers in Distress, which is a beautifully observed musical portrait of a typical Hannon childhood Sunday.
Well, that was what it was meant to be, certainly. It was inspired by the fact that my dad was suffering from Alzheimer's at the time. And, I would run a mile from sort of trying to be too on the nose about that. I'm not strong enough, to write about his Alzheimer's, but I thought a nice way to sort of come at it obliquely would be to, because he was forgetting so much, that I could remember it, And the funny thing was that I'd forgotten a lot of things as well, and it was only in the act of writing it that I suddenly thought, oh yeah, I remember, that moment when Guinness the Red Setter dove under my legs and sent me spinning like a a thing that spins.
But you have the Renault 16, everybody piling into the car.
He had the ugliest car. It was such an embarrassment.
Oh, such a cool French car. They're all back in fashion now.
Well, they are now,
yeah.
But back then, like everybody else's dad had a cool car, and mother's. But my father insisted they were the most practical automobile
big
available.
soft seats and skinny wheels. It was
Yeah.
I'd loved one of those. But it goes through the day. It goes through the various bits of a Sunday, starting off with, it's Sunday morning, bread is frying, mother is fretting, brothers are fighting, and that kind of sets the scene.
Yeah. Got into trouble with Des a lot in this one. I said at one point, my eldest brother, I had written, Desmond says Dad does quite important stuff, and Desmond's always right. Because he does have a bit of his status in the family as, he knows what he thinks and he's going to tell us all. But I love him very dearly. I sort of sprinkle stuff like that all the way through. I do like the idea of, this beautiful, brilliant singers in the choir singing these rather kind of weirdly down-home lyrics.
Because if you don't concentrate, if you came in the middle of the piece, you would think, oh, they're singing Requiem Aeternam, Dona Requiem, and they're actually singing, in surplice and cassock dressed, we leave the confines of the vestry 2 by 2 through nave and lastly into the chancel. Girls and boys, you know, you look like you've been
dragged through a hedge backwards.
backwards.
That was just something I remember my mum always saying about me and my hair. You know, you were saying earlier about, you know, the spitting on the hand and sort of trying to flatten the hair. That is very reminiscent of my younger years.
But it's almost like an Easter egg in a video game that you can listen to this piece. It's just a beautiful piece of music. But actually, when you look at the text and look at the words, you think this is something that rings true for so many people. Breakfast, morning service, Sunday lunch, evening prayer.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's something that I don't really sort of experience in later life, but it was certainly a very big part of my upbringing. Yeah.
For a piece like To Our Fathers in Distress, and given that it's a musical portrayal of something very personal,
oh yeah,
what would your dad have made of it, do you think?
Yeah. I can see my father's expression listening to certain lyrics. He'd be going, because you know, he had a silly sense of humor like myself, and he also loved, obviously, choral music, but much more so, he was a romantic at heart. He was all about. He was a very good pianist, and he, you know, he didn't play as much as he ought to have done through the years. It's sad, really, but you know, he used to relax with the piano before Sunday service, and you'd always hear it sort of emanating out of the drawing room, because we were that sort of family. The drawing room.
Would he have said, "Well done, that's I like what you've done there"?
Oh yeah, you know, both my mum and my dad are the most supportive people, and I mean, they were terrified when I started in the pop game, but I was the third of three boys, so they'd kind of just. They were too tired to, you know, to kind of worry that much. I'm sure they did, but I was always just so completely, you know, driven, and you know, I wouldn't take no for an answer. That, you know, soon enough it happened, and they could fret no more. I think it was a happy accident. Yeah, I just can write a catchy tune, and even with these things, I try to be less kind of tune, you know, refrain orientated, but little riffs come out and little kind of melodies, and I can't help myself. I just, I like a good tune.